question, and I thought this when I saw the study in the beginning, was did it address the digital mammography? Because I'm under the impression that that is so much more superior than the mammography. So the regular mammography.
So digital mammography is really, it is an advance, but it's an advance for a lot of reasons that people don't understand. Digital mammography changes the organization of screening. So again, it allows the image to be taken at one site and be interpreted at another. Mm-hmm. So it gets rid of the whole processing and film screening. It allows you right away. There's a lot of people who are called back because the breast wasn't on the film in the right place. Mm-hmm. All that can be seen at the time.
Yeah, and is the quality of it better?
So the quality of it isn't really that different. Mm-hmm. I think you can see calcifications more clearly. You can sometimes evaluate something without having to call someone back and do diagnostic studies, because you can magnify them from the screen. But there's a lot of things that are really important. You can't lose them because they're digital. Mm-hmm. So the most important thing about a mammogram is being able to compare it to your prior mammogram. And a lot of times you can't find it. Mm-hmm. And if you have calcifications, but they were there before, and you don't have the old films, you're going to get a biopsy recommendation. Mm-hmm. So it can really reduce false positives that way. Now it is a little bit more sensitive for finding calcifications, and that of course is both good and bad, right? So what you want to do is find the things that are cancer, but not call back the things that turn out not to be. So when someone goes from the old film screen mammography to a digital mammogram, sometimes just the consequence of that, because of the increased sensitivity, is finding that something that appears new, but in fact it's not. So again, if you go back to the principles I said, where we are perhaps a little bit more judicious about what we call back, then you get all the benefits of digital without some of the negative consequences.
And how it seems like I just assumed that the digital mammography was what was being used regularly now, because that's what they've been doing for me. But it seems from what other people are saying that it's not being used as much as it should be. Is that what you're finding?
I would say that pretty much everyone's switching over to digital. It just takes a while.
Okay.
But it's more important to go to a good mammographer than it is to get digital versus film screen. So a trained mammographer is going to be much more likely to find the cancer and avoid an overcall.
And is there a way a woman can know, like, I'm just going to my imaging center every year, and it seems like a good one, but I don't know who is actually reading it. Like, what?
So you want to ask good questions. Do you have dedicated mammographers?
Dedicated mammographers.
Okay, who are, and how many screens do they read a year? If someone's reading 200 a year, do not go there.
Okay.
You know, you want people who are reading thousands a year. Okay. I think in Europe it's 20,000 minimum.
Wow.
In this country it's like 5,000. So it is, you really want to go to people who do it all the time and are really good at it. And you also want to make sure you've got a center that's actually looking at their results and learning and improving.
Yeah. And you talked about Europe having some sort of like networking of their digital mammograms. Is that something that they're trying to do here, or it's not even being considered?
I think unless you're in, some of the large health systems could do that. So Kaiser could do that, for example. Maybe Sutter could do that. It's too bad. There's, I think, a big opportunity to do that, and sort of there's a shortage of mammographers nationwide, and to say, well, okay, here's our pool of good mammographers. If we had screening as a public good, we could kind of redistribute, and do it maybe less frequently, really take all the mammographers that are really good out there and distribute the interpretation in a way that optimizes the chance of a good read.
Because I think women would be more comfortable with saying, okay, we only need to do the mammogram every other year, but the one that you're going to get is going to be superior to any of them that you've gotten every year.
I wish we could do that. I think that this is one of those things that there's great economy of scale, and it would be better organized as a system. That being said, the U.S. is a big country. We could do it by region. We could do, I think increasingly people should think about it. I think what you've got to do, we're going to try and do that to the University of California. All 5 UC systems currently operate as completely independent centers. They have fabulous mammographers. They're, some of the best in the country. But we could actually work together as a whole system We are
Exactly.
the University of California, so we're going to start acting
Yeah.
like a system. And I think demonstration projects that show that it's actually cost effective to do it that way, and that there's benefits to women would be great. We're going to actually centralize the risk assessment too. We're going to take screening and say that screening includes a risk assessment, and we're going to try